BookTube! It's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my weekly wrap-up for week 28. This week I read 3 books, and so let's just get started because I'm really excited and I have a lot to say about these books. The first book that I read was Cemetery Boys by Heather Brewer. There's the picture. I had to return it back to the library last week, so you get the pictures. But now I have a nice editing software so I can put the pictures inside, which is so exciting. Alright, so this book is about a boy named Steven. He's a senior in high school because he keeps talking about how, in like 6 months he's going to move. So I'm believing he's a senior. Or maybe he's just 17 and a half, and then at 18 he doesn't even care about school anymore. He's just going to take off. Who knows? But he hates the fact that he has to move in with his grandma and Spencer. And he hates the fact that his mom is in a mental institute. Mental? That's not a word. A mental institute. She's gone bonkers. And his dad put her in there. And he resents his father for putting his mom into the psychiatric hospital. And he resents his mom for going crazy. And he resents his grandma for being a bitter hag and not loving him and never, having anything to do with him growing up. And Steven is a whiner, okay? Starting from the very beginning, he's a complete and utter whiner. And if you read my review, which I will leave down below, you will read all of the anger that was like just rippling off of me like a tidal wave. Because seriously, this boy is just bad. He's just bad. And I have boys, and so I would hope that they would love me more and give me more respect in situations than what this boy did to his dad and his mom. Is just, he's so selfish. And yeah, I know teenagers can be very moody and emotional because they're not getting their way, because just whenever, even when you're an adult, you're very egotistical and you want everything to be about yourself. And that's what Steven is acting like. He wants everything to be about himself, his feelings, nobody cares, blah, blah. So he gets to this new town, and he meets these people, these boys, and he wants to be a part of this clique because he's new, and he wants to make friends. And so the boys are like, well, we drink every single night. And Steven's like, well, I've never drank before, but I'll drink with you guys. So he gets shit-faced hammered every single night, even though he doesn't want to. He's doing it to be cool and to be in this clique. That's the first thing that I absolutely despise of him. He didn't have any morals, no self-worth or values. Like, he would rather be popular with these hooligans instead of, sticking to what he's been doing for the last 17 years about being, away from alcohol and drugs and all that. Now, because he wants friends, and he's angry at his father for being mean and making him move to a new place, that he's just gonna get super drunk every single night and possibly hurt himself. Yeah, that was really fun to read. And then number 2, there's the prologue of the book, which tells you exactly what happens at the end of the book. So basically, you get spoiled at the beginning, even before you start the story. And then the whole story, you're waiting for that beginning to be, to come, because it's telling you the future in the prologue. And then you're waiting for the future to happen, and you're waiting, and nothing happens. And then 90%, there's only 2 chapters left, that prologue happens. I was waiting forever. And then the prologue, or the ending, was awful. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it's slightly different than the prologue, but still it was bad. I hated it. There's insta-love in this book with a psycho, and just the whole, it wasn't scary, it wasn't suspenseful, it just seemed like he was part of a gang. And the gang was doing bad stuff and beating up kids and burning buildings down. Just, it wasn't fun. It wasn't scary. It was just awful. It was awful. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And the main thing, the reason why I wanted to read this book was because it was supposed to have some kind of like eerie paranormal aspect to it, which never showed itself. So it was like this mystery buzzkill. That's what it was. It was a mystery buzzkill. You don't ever get to find out anything. Wow, that was a long rant. Okay, next book. The next book that I read and finished was Between the Spark and the Burn by April Genevieve Tuchuk. This is the sequel to Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. Now, the first book I absolutely loved with all my heart because it was very poetic and beautiful, and I loved the writing, and it was just awesome all around. There was panther hips and just gorgeous, gorgeous language from April. I love her writing. This sequel was horrific. I gave it 3 stars because it still had the beautiful language, but everything that I loved in the first book did not come into this book. It was everything. It was anti-love, everything from Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. This was just all the same characters, but they just, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it, and it took me so long to read this book. I want to say a little bit over a month, and then it took me 6 months to pick up because I just really didn't want to read this book. I am happy to be done with this series. I will read more books from April because, again, she is a beautiful writer. I love all the metaphors and just the way that, like, her cadence, like, I love all of that, but I just didn't like this story, and I think it's because I don't like Brody from the first book, and this has a lot to do with Brody, and so because I hate Brody, I kind of hated this book. But yeah, it's finally done and over. And then the last book that I read last week was The Shadow Cabinet by Maureen Johnson. I thought this was going to be the 3rd and final book in the Shades of London trilogy. But no, there's a 4th book coming out. And there is no date set for release. And there's no cover. And I don't know when the 4th book's coming out, which means that I'm just going to be reading this forever. I read book 2 last year in January, and I think I read book 1 in 2012. So I've been reading this or maybe 2013. Regardless, I've been reading this book once a year, so hopefully it comes out in 2016. This book, I really enjoy the paranormal aspect of this story. I love that. That's like my most favorite part of it. It's so fun. I love the characters. The character in this book is called Rory. Yeah, her name's Rory. She is from Louisiana. She moves to England to go to school because her parents are teachers, and so they're going to be teaching, and so she got into like a boarding school while her parents are teaching in a different city. And at that time there was a Jack the Ripper case going around, and she gets involved. And then this is the 3rd book, so this is way past the Ripper case, but there's still a lot of mystery going on. England is filled with paranormal activity, and so you get to find out all about the history of how London and England just got to be so full of like ghostly spirits and stuff. And then the Shadow Cabinet is like a new plot twist in the whole thing. So now we know about the Shadow Cabinet, which is a secret like society, and now we need to know what this whole thing is about. We only find out about this Shadow Cabinet like at the end of the book, which makes this book kind of like a cliffhanger, and I hate the villains. They're so evil, but in a good way, I guess, because they're really good as evil villains, kind of like Snape. You're just like, you love to hate them. And so just this book was great. It was great. I gave it 4 stars. I only dropped 1 because it's not the ending of the series. Like, I feel like I'm not getting over series. I love reading series, but at the same time, when I have the expectation of the series being over and then another book is coming out, it's like, oh, I thought it was done. I was feeling accomplished, and it's not done. So yeah, if you like paranormal and you like mysteries, I would definitely check this series out. It's really good. Nobody really talks about it, but it's really, really good. And Maureen Johnson has a really good voice, very up to date with, not like slang or anything like that, but it's very up to date, super fast paced read. I read this in a day or a little over a day, and so yeah, I would definitely pick it up. All right, and then let me just share with you guys what I'm currently reading, and that is Mosquitoland by David Arnold. So far, I'm loving it. I'm only like in the 3rd chapter, but let me just share with you guys really quick. You see this font? I don't know if that's Comic Sans. But I love the font, and even the font in the actual book isn't like the normal font that they use. I mean, it's very readable, but it's slightly different, like Verona or something like that. I don't know. I just like it. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. I feel like I'm anxious, but I'm not. Maybe it's because I'm hot. I don't know. Anyways, I'm really liking this book. I love the cover. I love the whole thing. And so that is my weekly wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what you guys are reading right now. Not that I need more recommendations for books, but I like knowing. And yeah. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful week. Bye.